I believe our industry has done you an injustice by not properly educating you about how you should be investing as you head into this next chapter of life, retirement. In this video, I want to share with you how to change the way you're thinking now so that you can move into retirement. This is crucial to your pursuit of your retirement goals, so I hope that you'll be paying attention. Hi, my name is Mark Singer. Before we go any further, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you're alerted to when we post new and important videos. So we want to be off the clock, right? We want to be retired. That's our goal. That's our long-term financial goal. So say all of the studies. But here's the question. Do you really know how much risk you need to take with your portfolio? Do you really know how much return you must generate to get the cash you're going to need and not run out of money? That's the big question, isn't it? We want the confidence as we enter into this next chapter that we can do what we want to do when we want to do it. And the only way to truly know that is to know that you've lined up your money management and the risk associated with it with your goals. And we have not told you how to do that. That changes now. So I want to share with you a story, very quick, because the question is, do you even know how much risk you're taking? Do you know if you're taking more risk or less risk than you should? And I recently had somebody in my office and I asked them the question, as I do everyone, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being most conservative, 10 being most aggressive, where do you place yourself on that risk profile? And these particular people, he actually said, I don't like to gamble on things. And she said, I was probably middle of the road. And then we took a look at their statements. They were about to retire. We looked at their 401ks. They had upwards of 95% of their investments in the stock market. Now, that's neither good nor bad, but it does speak to the fact that, one, they had no idea how they were invested, which I find that to be the case with many people. And they do not know if the type of risk that they're taking, and they were like at a 9.8 on a scale of 10, is okay based on what their objectives are. Most of the people I work with, they don't need 95 or 98% in the stock market. And when the market goes down, like it did last year, significantly, how will that impact your ability to pursue your retirement? More than that, let me tell you something. Now that you're in retirement, you're no longer working, no longer contributing. When the market does come down, and if you are also taking money out of the portfolio in order to pursue your goals, it's a double whammy, and it's even more difficult to overcome than when you were working. Have you thought of that? That's a reality. We need to tell you how to overcome that. So from a financial planning perspective, and I don't see any of this education out there that the industry is sharing with you, there really is 2 different ways to invest your money depending upon where you are in life. First, during your working years, we call it the accumulation stage, right? You want to accumulate as much money as possible so that when you do choose to retire, that you have enough of a nest egg, that retirement number, we call it, right? That's the only thing we've really told you about, the retirement number. That if that retirement number can provide the income that you need, then it gives you some degree of confidence moving forward that you can retire when you wish to. But here's the deal. When you go to retire, a couple of things might happen. First, I see that some people want to retire their money management. In other words, oh my gosh, I've hit my retirement number. I better protect and preserve those assets. I need to take the risk way, way down so that I don't deplete that principal. But the reality is, if you're taking income out and we have to deal with inflation and taxes, you're probably not going to be in a position down the road to give you a sense of feeling good that you're going to protect that principal. Because as the years go on, you may see that principal depleting a bit because you didn't take the risk necessary. Not saying take a lot of risk, but just the risk necessary to overcome the impact of taking the income out. I can tell you that it's one of our big goals with our clients, for many of those who are retired, really just to overcome that. In other words, the portfolio is designed for most of my clients, not for everyone, in such a way to overcome the income that is being taken out or the required minimum distribution, have the potential for maybe for some moderate or minor growth over a long period of time. And certainly there's no guarantees with this formula, but the way that we do it is to first assess what your income need is, and then to figure out, as you move into this next chapter, what we call the distribution stage, is to how to manage the money properly now that you're headed into retirement. And if you worked with a financial advisor before, it's very possible that the majority of the conversations were on money management, right? How'd you do against the Dow, the S&P, etc.? You know, they were up 12%, you were up 8, or you were up 15. That was your benchmark. Now as you retire, and for those who are working with us as their retirement consultant, as their retirement guide, the conversations are very different. And the whole focus of money management drops from being top conversation to maybe down to 5th, 6th, or 7th topic that is important. Because once you put in place the planning, you design the income faucet, you understand where the income is coming from, and you align the risk of the investments with your objectives, so you're not taking on more risk than you should, then everything should pretty much be in autopilot with some minor adjustments. You just stay on top of it. But you shouldn't have to just focus on, oh my gosh, the market's going up, the market's going down. And that's the difference between the two different stages of financial planning, the accumulation stage and the distribution stage. So the question is, are you truly prepared for retirement? So in our banner, I developed a very quick 2-minute quiz so that if you go down and answer the questions that are there, we'll deliver to you the results. We'll tell you which one of the 3 stages of retirement preparedness you are in. And in addition to that, because I want to give it to you, I love giving value as a consumer to get value, and I want to give you value. We're going to give you the first chapter of my new book, Don't Outlive Your Money in Retirement, 7 Key Steps, and a couple of worksheets as well. So you have more clarity about where you are and what you need to do in order to pursue your retirement goals. So I'm going to share with you the 2 items I think that our industry has not told you about, that is so much more than just focusing on the money and the investing. I mean, how many channels, how many TV stations, how many YouTube channels are just devoted to that one topic of money management? Many years ago, Peter Lynch, who was managing Fidelity Magellan, did a fantastic job of really putting the whole industry, the mutual fund industry, that whole platform, provided the opportunity for all of us to participate in many of these great stocks with Fidelity. And when he retired, Morris Smith took over as the head of the Fidelity Magellan Fund. And I thought one of the worst things I had seen was in the Boston Globe, where on a weekly basis, they were sharing with you what his performance was with that fund. What a horrible message that was sending, that we really need to focus on the day-to-day, the week-to-week, month-to-month returns of a particular fund or stock. Are we not more interested in the long-term success of our investing? Who really cares, except for day traders who are taking on significant risk, what happens with a particular stock, fund, ETF, or whatever your investment is on a very, very short-term basis. Are you invested for next week? Or are you invested so that you can go after whatever your retirement goals are over the next 10, 15, or 25 years? And a part of that, the problem became, and I'll share with you just last year, the market dropped like a rock, just from record highs to the most precipitous decline in the history of the stock market in a short period of time. Almost $1 trillion came out of the market in anticipation of not just the presidential election last year, but as a result of people panicking from what was happening with the market. And the real problem was when the market started to recover, that money did not come back in. People were looking at the headlines and managing their money as a result. You must divorce the headlines from the money management. And I'll tell you how to do that in just a minute. So do you remember the ad? It was an insurance company. And it was a guy who was walking along, and under his arm was this yellow number. It was like a block, $1,842,352. And the announcer would say, that's how much money, that's his retirement number. That's his nest egg. And then it would show him as he's walking, he would walk, a bus hit him, which meant, the market went down, or the number went into flames because the market went down. The message was so poorly conceived for two reasons. Number one, if I'm telling you you need $1.8 million for retirement and you're nowhere near that, the message really should be, how do I share with you how to contribute enough along the way to get to that $1.8 million, right? That's the lesson we should be giving our youngsters. Not that they need $1.8 million, but if you contribute $10 a week or $100 a month, you can potentially get to that number over a long period of time thanks to compound interest. But we don't tell them that. We aren't focusing on that. Then the other side of that story is, if you do have the $1.8 million, how do you manage it? So now let's go to the distribution stage. The key concept that you must be aware of as you go into retirement and look to invest your money properly is the personalized investment benchmark. Now, again, let's go back to the working years. It was okay to take on more risk than you may have needed because you had plenty of time on your side, right? You're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. If you made a mistake, and we all do, you had time to overcome that. If the market went down 20 or 30%, you had time to overcome that. But now as we head into retirement, if you are retiring at just the wrong time and the market goes down 20 or 30 or even 40% and you're needing to take income out, that's a real problem. Particularly if you did not change the portfolio construction from when you were taking on more risk as you were in your working years and the accumulation stage. So, what do you need to do now? The first is get a handle on how much cash flow you need. It's the cash flow that drives how much risk you are going to have to take on your portfolio. You don't start with money management. That's the wrong message. We start with cash flow, and I'll tell you why. If you don't need, let's say hypothetically, any income from your portfolio in order to pursue your retirement, hypothetically, you got pension coming in, Social Security, based on what you need and your lifestyle, you're all set with no money coming from your portfolio. How much risk do you need to take? You don't need to take on a lot, do you? However, the flip side of that, if now that you're moving into the distribution stage and you understand that based on your cash flow need and the monies that are definitively coming in from, let's say, Social Security, that you're going to need a chunk of money now from your portfolio, then you need to take on the amount of risk necessary in order to generate that income and no more. The way we put it is, take the least amount of risk necessary in order to generate your retirement income needs. Now, if you choose to take on more risk than that, and some of our clients do, they carve out a piece of their portfolio and go a little bit more with the gusto for there. But they know that they've got this bucket that is designed to provide them with some predictable income stream that they will need looking forward. And the difference between your working years, where you gauge the success or failure of your portfolio against the Dow benchmark or the S&P benchmark, now, based on the planning, based on your cash flow need, you literally come up with your own personalized investment benchmark. You may need only 3% or 5% or 6% in order to pursue your goals over a long period of time. And that becomes your benchmark. You no longer are gauging the success or failure of your portfolio against what the traditional institutional benchmarks are. You move it to a retirement benchmark, the personalized investment benchmark that you need in order now to pursue your goals in this next chapter. It's a very different way of investing, and we need to tell you about that as you prepare for retirement. The second and maybe the most important item is not sexy. Okay? That's probably why it doesn't beg the headlines. It's probably why they don't have lots of channels about this as they do about the day-to-day movement of stocks or the headlines about where the market has been, right? I'm going to tell you what's so much more important than money management looking forward. Because here's the question for you. Because you're invested a certain way, does that give you the confidence to go on trips? Does that give you confidence that you're taking the least amount of taxes necessary? Does that necessarily give you the confidence that you know in your gut for sure that you're not going to run out of money in retirement, which is that number one fear? The portfolio itself does not give you that sense of confidence because the portfolio is constantly moving. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down for a while, and then it comes back up. That can shake you to your core and undo the confidence that you thought you had just the week before when the markets were up. So what's the one thing, the non-sexy thing, that is so much more than focusing on just the money management? It's the planning. I told you it wasn't sexy, but it is the answer. And it's the message we must be sharing with you more. Because in the planning, you're going to find out how to properly manage your money so you don't take more risk than you should. It is in the planning that you'll know exactly when to take that Social Security benefit. It's in the planning that you'll know if you spend that $25,000 on that wonderful trip when they let us do that again, that it's okay to spend it. Because one of the big questions you have that undermines confidence as you go into this next chapter is, if I spend it today, will it be there tomorrow? If I go on the trip today or make this additional purchase or do whatever I want to do, a second home, how will it impact the pursuit of the rest of my retirement goals? The money management itself does not give you that answer. It's in the planning. So as you go to transition into this next stage, please stop investing the way that you have. Put the money management on the back burner. Come to the planning. Use a financial advisor. If you can do it on your own, great. But I strongly recommend you use a financial advisor to help put you on track so you then know how to invest based on what your goals are. Let your goals and your planning lead your money management rather than your money management trying to lead it, because it won't work that way. And if you do it that way, it may be you may continue to question. There may still be a mystery as to whether or not you're still on the right track. I hope this has been informative for you, and I really do hope that you enjoy the retirement journey.